Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Kalopsia pod. My name is Sydney, and I am thrilled that you guys clicked on this week's episode where I wanted to talk about the current state of social media and creation, and this is going to be heavily inspired by the @Lexi podcast, honestly. She released an episode in which she was kind of just talking about creativity and where that stands, and she touched on kind of like the LA perspective of it all, because like I think she's based in LA and there's a lot of content creation in Los Angeles. That's just kind of what the general consensus is. But I kind of wanted to talk about social media even just from a worldly perspective, because I feel like there is a shift occurring right now. So I have grown up watching YouTube, have grown up watching, the same creators, honestly, pretty consistently. I've been watching a lot of the people that I watch ever since I was like 13, which may include, unfortunately, Tana Mojo. I mean, I'm not even going to say unfortunately, because I've always stood by her. And so, I've watched her since I was literally maybe 12 years old. There's also this girl, Flossie. I mean, I've been watching her for maybe 6 years. A lot of the time, when people are looking at the content that they're consuming, it has to do with your interests. It has to do with, maybe whoever got introduced to you really early on. And I feel like in this new age of content creation, a huge shift has occurred from the standpoint of like self-expression and, trying to almost build friendships online, because I feel like a lot of the creators that are big online now and have been and consistently have been big online, a lot of that has been due to the connections that they wanted to make back then. So just for example, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Amelia Starr or Ruby Lynn or Renee. There's this like group of girls that all created a Tumblr together. They created a Tumblr account, and it was like a shared account between these maybe 8 girls. And then all of them went on to do social media creation, all over the world. They were all online digital friends. And I feel like this wasn't unique, back then. A lot of the time we saw people kind of forming these online friendships with their small accounts. And this is also true for the @Lexi podcast with Lexi. Her and her friends, they would almost like plug each other's accounts online. And there were not a lot of people making content online. There were not a lot of people doing it. And I feel like now, with how much of a resurgence, kind of like this type of creativity has gotten, or not resurgence, but the climb, right? It's totally shifted the way that we look at social media and the type of connections that we build on social media. And I think that that's really something that we need to be thinking about, because I feel like what the issue is now, which we all know, is that there's a lot of oversaturation online. And it's not, a shocker when you're seeing how all of these people can be making so much money online, making so much money through affiliate links and through views and all of these different things. And I feel like there's less of an emphasis on the actual connectivity that can be built off of these types of connections, because it's kind of beautiful to think what a tool and what an asset these platforms, and I'm really thinking about YouTube when I'm saying all of these things. I mean, this also applies to TikTok, because I honestly do think TikTok is a baby version of YouTube. Instagram is a weird beast. Instagram is like, it's a facade. That Instagram is to LinkedIn. Instagram is like LinkedIn, is what I'm trying to say here, because I feel like you're not really getting personality out of Instagram. It's mostly just pictures. I mean, some people bring out more personality in dumps, but I feel like even Instagram dumps have become so curated, it's not even the same thing anymore. So when I'm talking about this, I'm really thinking about YouTube and TikTok, right? And I feel like when we started this, when all of these came live, when YouTube began, it was all about kind of understanding other people's lives and putting yourself in their shoes through these video blogs, through these story times, through these, what I like, what's my haul for today? You know, these are the things that I'm interested in. This is what inspired me. I recently watched a YouTube video that really like reminded me of this old, you know, version 1 of YouTube. And it was this girl, Violet, you know, she was just listening to music and she was explaining what she likes about the music, what she likes about the artist, what time in her life it reminded her of. And it's literally just like channels, when you really think about it, was supposed to be a place where you go, where you can kind of immerse yourself into this person and think, okay, wow, like this is what life in Bali might look like. This is what life in New York might look like. But what we're seeing is that we're flipping the perspective from one of self-expression, from one of like, here, come to my channel and you can discover, you know, what I like, what I'm like, what I like to do, what I like to watch, what I like to listen to. Like, it's shifted from that to, okay, like, as you guys know, like, this is what we're all obsessed with. So like, here is my way of, you know, presenting that to you. You know, I don't know if that made any sense, but for example, let me just think of, oh, okay, here's an example. My 5 a.m. morning routine, right? And this is actually something that I really wanted to talk about. But basically, imagine you've got a YouTube video, 5 a.m. morning routine, I'm waking up, I'm going to my aloe workout, and then I'm gonna go shopping for 2 hours at, Princess Polly and at, what's another, like, known store? And Urban Outfitters. Even though Urban Outfitters is kind of on the outs, but let's just think about it that way, right? I'm waking up at 5, I'm gonna go to my aloe workout, then I'm gonna go and do my shopping, then I'm gonna go and do my 10K steps, then I'm going to go to Sweet Green. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's like we're watching the same life over and over with just a new poster person. And I feel like that's what people don't understand when it comes to people who are trying to, you know, make it in social media, is that the reason why the new big creators like Monet Mitchell, Alex Earl, who is there? Mads, the British podcaster who was dating Central C. The reason why these girls grew so much is that they were giving you personality. Like, I feel like it's so hard to pinpoint what is making these girls stand apart when our For You pages and our feeds are almost pushing us to consume even more and to not think about it this deeply. You know, and this makes me think back to this TikTok that I actually watched. And this woman was saying that you're not making any money and you're not becoming a millionaire because your life is not set up to make you think like a millionaire. You know, and this was one of those videos of like trying to get into the rich money mindset algorithm, right? It was like you need to train your algorithm into making you like more of a creator, more of a moneymaker, more of a doer. Because a lot of the time we are consuming way more than we even think that we are. And I never thought about it this way. And honestly, I think that the shift occurred even more after I updated my TikTok app. So for the longest time, I actually did not have TikTok Shop. I did not have TikTok Shop until, I want to say, 3 months ago. It was definitely like this past winter. And I was talking to my friend and I was like, wow, like I see that a lot of people have this like item or this tool that was sold on TikTok Shop. I don't know if it was like a charger or I don't know what I was thinking about, but I was like, wow, like what is this TikTok Shop? Like, is it a tag? Like, do I search it up? Like, I was so confused because I think I set up my TikTok account when I was traveling in Cameroon. And so my TikTok was based in Cameroon, and I don't think Cameroon had TikTok Shop because there's not like an ordering service there. Like, that's just not the way it works. And so up until then, I didn't realize how deeply our feeds had thrown themselves to the other side, further away from creators who are trying to, share personality and, put themselves out there and connect with others, or, join a book club or join a run club. Like, I don't know, like these communities that are facilitated through these apps and through these platforms. But the thing is that when I flipped my TikTok into the American version, right, I was shocked at the amount of ads that there were. Like, literally, it's like the amount of ads quadrupled. And that is not an exaggeration. Every 4 TikToks I swipe is an ad. Either it's Lemonade or it's, a fucking, like, sorry, pardon my French, a workout set, or if it's like a makeup product, maybe it's the like lip stain. Every 4 videos that I'm swiping is an ad. And sure, we already kind of had that with streaming platforms like Netflix. Like, now everybody's getting more ads. YouTube has always had ads, but I feel like Instagram, TikTok, these are the places where it was supposed to be a little bit more subtle. And so now, coming back to the whole, we need to train our algorithm into kind of treating us less of like a consumer and more like a creator. This original video, right? Let's cast our minds back to that example I brought up earlier, is that the reason why you're not going to be this moneymaker, this creator, this hustler, is that you're still swiping. And I feel like I didn't even realize this as much, right? Because when you are swiping and every 4 videos that you're looking at is a new ad, and, every video that's in between is the same type of person portraying the same type of product, pushing the same type of lifestyle, it's hard to find this personality that is going to bring you success in the first place. And then we get ourselves caught in this cycle of consumption, in this cycle of consumerism, that it's literally like we are sheep and we don't even know that we are, and that's where it gets scary. But now, another thing that's been circling on my mind this week is that I have recently started listening to the Anything Goes podcast again, the Emma Chamberlain podcast. And honestly, I'll be honest, the new cover art is what got me to click on it. I was like, this cover art slaps. Let me just see what's going on over here. Let me click on it. I had stopped listening because it had become really competitive for me. And I was like, or competitive? I meant repetitive. It got really repetitive. And I was like, okay, I don't know if I want to keep listening to this, but I clicked on one and I was like, okay, this is interesting. She's going to give us a really deep breakdown of what she does in a day. Right? That's the episode I listened to. It was like a very extremely like unneeded, detailed version of what I do in a day. And that is interesting to me. And I am like her in this way because she was saying like, I'm making this because this is what I would want to know. And honestly, I get it. Especially when you're looking at someone who's really successful and trying to, kind of model your day, going back to the law of attraction. What do I want to implement in my day-to-day life that is going to bring me closer to this person that I want to become? And Emma Chamberlain is a huge source of inspiration because, she is the blueprint for the new wave of influencer, the YouTuber, the, podcaster. She kind of is the blueprint from all of that. And she started when she was, 16? Just like Alex Earl, Monet McMitchell, she gave us personality. And so I am clicking on this episode and I'm like, okay, let's see what she does in her day. And it was interesting. But one of the biggest things that stuck in my mind was that she does not watch YouTube throughout the week. And I think that this is radical, right? I do think this is radical. And I'm not saying I'm doing this because I actually don't think I need to get my dopamine somewhere. And unlike her, I do actually have a job throughout the day. So it's like I need to do something fun throughout the day that makes the job part also fun. We don't all live a content creator lifestyle where she doesn't have to clock in or do anything throughout the day. So it makes sense for her to go this radical. However, the rationale behind her making this choice, I did find interesting. And so what she was saying was that her job is to be a content creator. Her profession is that she is a creator. And so when you are a creator and you want to be in that kind of mindset of creation, unfortunately, what you need to do is consume less. And honestly, it was shocking to hear, but when you really think about it, it makes sense. Like, if you want to be a content creator, if you want to create more, you just have to consume less. That's just the way it has to go. Because not only is the consumption further deteriorating your creativity, because I think that that's actually what we're doing with this whole new wave of social media, where you've got ads back to back to back to back to back. It's the same stores, it's the same brands, it's the same outfits, it's the same jewelry. It's the same things, right? We're all rushing to the same creators, we're all rushing to the same next trend, right? It's so detrimental to our creativity. It's so detrimental to our inspiration. I feel like more intentional consumption is where you're going to get that sort of inspiration, because you're also not going to be inspired if you don't expose yourself to any other outside perspectives and you only listen to your own chamber of thoughts, right? That's not going to foster creativity either. But I think that intentionality in our consumption is what is going to be necessary if you want to be that content creator, if you want to try to lean more into your creativity, whether it be online or otherwise. And so what Emma was saying is that she stopped watching YouTube on weekdays and she has reserved it for the weekends. And I was like, wow, that's actually really, really interesting. And I kind of think I need to be more intentional about my consumption as well. But how can we look at this more optimistically? And now coming back to what inspired me to make this episode, right, is that something that stuck with me about Lexi's episode, which I'll put the title on the screen for the YouTube listeners, or the YouTube watchers and listeners. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it came out about 2 weeks ago. And in that episode, she was discussing how we need to bring back spontaneity. And this didn't even have to do with the content creation conversation at all. But she was just discussing how the other day she was sitting at home on a weekend and she was just telling herself, you know what, I need to go skiing and spring is around the corner. Side note, spring is here. How exciting. But she was saying, spring is right around the corner. I want to go skiing. I haven't gone skiing this winter. Let me pack up my car and literally go for a drive, rent some skis, and go skiing for a few hours. And that's exactly what she did. She packed up her car, went to a rental space, filled up her car, went and skied for 4 hours, came back home by herself. She did this all by herself and had a grand old time. And that's another story for her to tell. And I feel like what it really made me realize is that we need to bring back spontaneity in our day-to-day lives. Because literally what have our lives become? And this could be a me problem, because I know for a fact that I've come on here and said that I feel like I'm living the same day over and over and over. And I feel like it can be really difficult, especially for Virgos. And I'm literally this could apply to nobody else, and I'm very sorry for that. But I feel like personally, I structure my days so much to a T and structure my weeks so much that sometimes it feels like I am a robot or a sim, and I am the sim player as well, right? I'm playing my sim being my body, but my mind is the controller, right? So I'm just okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's am I even living? Right? And I feel like there's also a song lyric about this that's who sings that? There's a song lyric, again, I'll put it on the screen if I can find it, that's a lot of us are living, but are we even alive, right? That's the quote. I think it's so many of us are living, but are we even alive? And I feel like spontaneity is where livelihood lives, honestly. And I feel like I've strayed so far from the plot recently that it's honestly smacked me over the head with this episode that I was listening to. And I feel like that's where the creators that are online, the content creators, are thriving. And it's because they're able to have that sort of play, that kind of joie de vivre, right? And if you guys don't know these creators, her name is Ivana Crystal. It's spelled Iwana Crystal, with her boyfriend Adam Rosali. And I was listening to the comments, or I was reading the comments, and somebody described that couple as stationary nomads or something like that, right? Because nomads, the nature of that term is the type of person that travels often, doesn't have a home base, and loves to play, right? They move through the world through play. They might want to explore, surfing, and so they'll just travel and go there and surf. And then they might be thinking, instead, I actually want to go and study a degree in philosophy just for a semester, and so they will go and travel somewhere to study for philosophy. And that's kind of like a nomad lifestyle where you're just constantly on the move, just trying new things, exploring, without necessarily tethering yourself to a specific place. But this couple online, and I think that they are one of the best creators that I've seen personally online, and they don't have that big of a following again, but I really do think that the kind of following that they're building is the type that is going to last for a very long time because of how hard they work on their content and because of how much of their personality and of their brain and of their love and philosophies of life are communicated through their content. And so they were described as kind of stationary nomads because, even in their videos, they will be in their hometown or in their home country, but they're still trying new things. They're like, what if we just go out and bought a skateboard and we learned how to skate a skateboard? Or what if we went out and bought a unicycle and just learned to ride a unicycle? Why are we not playing more? Why are we not trying these new things? I feel like we've become so boring and so predictable to the point where our content and what we're creating is stale. And that's literally why we're seeing so many of the same types of micro influencers not being able to reach that threshold. And I'm saying this from a place of not having that big of a following, obviously, at this point that I am right now. But I feel like that doesn't negate this phenomenon, right? We're seeing so many types of micro influencers doing the exact same things, and nobody's able to kind of grow. Also, sorry, this is a tangent, but I feel like this is literally breaking the fourth wall because I have seen so many videos, and the videos that are performing the best right now are the videos that are teaching you how to make your content stand out. And what in the Black Mirror is up with that? Why are those the videos making the most views? Why are those videos performing the best? It's not going to be the content about them actually wanting to do something or, plugging their, knitting pattern or like a hobby that they've got. Like, no, the content that is going to be pushed the most by the algorithm, the content that is going to be performing the best is ways to trick the algorithm and ways to train the algorithm to make your content get pushed more. But your content isn't getting pushed more. It's the videos about how to make your content get pushed more. Do you understand what I'm talking about? What is going on? But all of this to say, honestly, you guys, I think that we need to shift away from looking at content creation as a job opportunity, because I feel like that's the issue here. We're all looking at content creation, social media as a job opportunity. And I feel like even myself, I did, and I was looking at it sort of like a job opportunity. And I want to say about a year ago, that's kind of the place I kind of fell into, because I started the podcast honestly from a place of, I am not in school right now. I had to drop out for about a year and I felt dumb. I genuinely felt dumb. I was like, I need to do something. I need to talk this out. I don't know. This is low-key like a therapy session now. I was literally just I was just chatting, right? It was a means of self-expression. And we need to find a way back there. Because the way that we're looking at it as a job, we're looking at what other people are doing. We're carbon copying it. We're trying to push our content, looking at it like a rat race, when truly these platforms began as a form of self-expression, but also as a form of connectivity, right? Even Instagram, it's a way to stay in touch with friends, I just feel like we lost the plot. We lost the plot a little. We need to bring back self-expression, bring back spontaneity, bring back comments. Why are we not commenting on our favorite creators, content? Why are we not putting ourselves out there? I feel like it shouldn't be such a pipe dream to think that we can build connections from the people that we follow online, because at the end of the day, that's what we were meant to be doing in the first place. And I feel like a lot of people are going to be looking at it from different points of view. A lot of people could be looking at it and thinking, I actually want hundreds of thousands of people to fawn over me, and that's the place that they're coming from it as, and that's just not the type of person that I would want to follow, I think is what it is. But it needs to be from a place of self-expression. We need to be looking at it from a place of joy, from a place of love, from a place of connection, especially with all of the bad stuff that's happening with the fires, with the political state of the world, with violence. There is so much destruction and pain, and social media can be not only that source of information and conversation and almost peer reviewing, but it's also a place of connection and joy and laughter, and we need to find our way back there. But I think that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that you guys enjoyed this topic. Honestly, I feel like I'm in a place where I kind of want to shift my approach to the podcast, and you guys can let me know what you think. But I feel like I got caught in the plot a little bit. And I want to get back. I want to get back in the place of self-expression. I want to get back into that stage, because I got really caught in the state of like my carbon footprint and how this podcast would kind of impact my job opportunities or my perception professionally. And I feel like this platform, right, this outlet is a form of self-expression, and that is separate from my professional life. My professional life is not me, just as this is a form of self-expression, and this is not my entire, identity either, right? And I think that we need to draw those lines. And so if you guys enjoyed this episode, follow along. There will most certainly be more like it. But I am really, really thankful that you guys came and joined for this week's episode. Again, I hope that you enjoyed. Please let me know your thoughts. Let me know what you'd like to hear from me. Let me know if you're new here. Comment, subscribe. Please, please, please leave a review, you guys. It would actually mean a lot. I think I realized really late how big of an impact reviews make. So if you guys have been listening and you haven't left a review, please do. Even if it's just like a one-word answer or just a 5 stars. You want to. But thank you so much for listening. Again, you can reach out at Kalopsia Pod, KALOPSIAPOD on Instagram and TikTok, and at Sydney Jotita, SYDNEYDJOTITA on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. My weekly vlog that I was talking about a couple weeks back is now up, so if you guys want to check that out, that's also out in the name of self-expression. Also, shout out Aaliyah. All of the music, or most of the music in that video, was Aaliyah, my friend Aaliyah Lopes. Her original singer-songwriter, her music. So if you guys also just wanted a little teaser of what she's putting out, I would also recommend that you check it out for that reason. But again, I will see you guys next Friday. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, rest of your week, and I will see you in the next episode.